Om Shanti. Welcome to the next episode of Masters of Change. Change is constantly happening around the world. Not only the world is changing, but also people are changing. But sometimes people find it very difficult to change. Not only because they have had a tough time adapting to it in the past, but also because they have seen other people go through difficulties while changing. So to talk more about change, today we have with us Brad Arkin. He's from the US. And affectionately we call him Brother Brad. He is associated with Brahma Kumaris since 1986 after he did the course from Miami, Florida. He's also working with Perry Ellis International, which is a leading US menswear brand. And he's at the capacity of Executive Vice President. So Brad, welcome to the show. Welcome to today's episode.
I came to the Brahma Kumaris in 1986.
All right.
I was never actively looking for something spiritual. I actually went because I had an injury and I was in a lot of pain, and I'd heard about the center, so I decided to go. Maybe I could reduce the pain or just feel better, physically and mentally. So I wasn't really looking for anything, but...
Sorry, how old were you?
I was 26. I was almost 27. Okay. I was actually 26. And I in Miami, I had a great life. I red sports car, worked for my father, overpaid. Life in Miami was quite beautiful, golden aged, very pretty, weather and whatnot. But I always felt, even as a kid, that even though I had a really nice, easy life, something was missing. Okay. And I wouldn't have been able, I didn't pinpoint it as something spiritual was going to be the answer to that. But I just felt that no matter what I had, whether it was the car or the job or a vacation, it never made me happy. And some of my biggest discussions / arguments with my parents were on the topic of happiness, because I kept saying, I want to be happy. And my parents would say, it's not normal to be happy all the time. And I'm like, no, I disagree. You can be happy. Things might go wrong, but you can still be happy. And I had that inkling. And I got to the center in 86, 5 free lessons. I had nothing to lose. And the topic of happiness came up.
Yep. And
that you own happiness and you can remain happy all the time, even though things happen. But at the end of the course, I knew, like deep in my heart, that this is what I was going to be doing spiritually. It just clicked. The 5 lessons on soul and divine energy and whatever. It appealed to me, and I decided this is what I'm going to be doing.
So how did your family take that? Did they support you in this journey?
I was always a good kid. I never got in trouble, really, and I was a hard worker, and I was doing everything normal. Right. They couldn't actually criticize me, and because I have a Jewish background. Okay. And usually Jewish people are a little sensitive if you go outside of Judaism, because the group is rather small and they feel it's like a loss and so. But I had a traditional Jewish education. I went to Israel for 2 months when I was 14, and so I had all that there, but I never got anything spiritually out of it. You just did it. And so when I came to the Brahma Kumaris, my parents, they didn't really quite know what it was, neither did I. So I couldn't really explain it, but they couldn't say anything. And my father used to make fun of me behind my back until he had a serious health crisis, and the doctors told him he needed to meditate. So the meditation teacher actually came, instead of going to the center, she came to our home. And my father, in the second day of the meditation, had a total out-of-body experience. Like he felt pulled up onto the ceiling, looking down at him and the BK teacher, and it totally rocked his world. And after that, he became very cooperative. And my mother eventually came with me to India, to the Brahma Kumaris. And out of my entire family, eventually 9 people took the meditation course. 6 of them have gone to Mount Abu. Wow. Some of them have gone to retreat centers in New York and London. So I was always... I just knew this is what I was doing, and I wasn't going to be derailed. So I was a little bit, I wouldn't say militant, but nobody was going to change my mind. And so I think by being strong in my beliefs and being consistent, that eventually most of my family members and a lot of my friends and co-workers have been involved.
So before you became spiritual, before your journey with Brahma Kumaris started, were you religious? Did you believe in God? And after coming into spirituality, how did that change? Did it change your perception of God?
Yeah, I mean, we always mention God's name in Judaism. I knew there was a God. I always believed in God, but I'd never had an experience.
Okay.
The difference was when I came to the Brahma Kumaris that I had an experience, which and I ask my friends now who are very religious Jews, I say, what is your experience of God? And they say, well, when I'm praying, that I pray, and I said, no, what's your experience? Tell me what you've experienced, and they can't answer me.
Yeah.
The difference is, right at the very beginning in the meditation, they weren't major experiences, but they were experiences.
Can you share some experiences that you had?
For me, one of the major themes of my life, other than being happy, is love. And I always, I realized early on that a traditional relationship was not for me. Okay. And I loved my parents, and I loved relatives, and I loved friends. But there was something I felt that was going to be deeper, and it was that experience of love that I got in the meditation with the Supreme Soul up there, that it really caused a huge shift in me, and I became much more involved, and tried to develop that more. And it's not easy. I mean, it's a great path, and it's benefited me tremendously. But I've had to work at it. It's not something you have to. When you start working on yourself and transforming the self, it's a lot of work.
It's not easy. It takes a lot of.
Bahut mushkil hai. It's so tough. It is tough.
Right. So what challenges did you go through? Did you used to question yourself, your beliefs, whatever you have been?
The beliefs wasn't the issue. It was all things like letting go of attachments, which is a big thing here. We have this expression which I love. It's like to be detached but to be loving. To have that balance. Like you're detached from the material, you're detached from your body, from your name, your culture, your background, all those things. Ego is there. We all struggle with ego. So letting go of those things. Like everybody my name is 4 easy letters, but everybody mispronounces my name. And I had to let go of that, I kept trying to correct people, and I finally said, you know what, it's okay. I'm learning to let go of my name. But, sometimes when you're doing that deep work on yourself, it's like cleaning a closet you've never cleaned in years. Yeah. And initially you start taking things off the shelves, and as you go deeper, you find like dead insects or rodents or dust, like all on the shelves. And I liken my mind to that dirty closet, that as the work got deeper on myself, a lot of negative stuff came out, even worse.
Okay.
There was more dust and more dead critters and insects there that I hadn't dealt with.
All right.
So that's where, for me, like the struggle was. But the good news was that, with the teachings and the skills that we learn here, and a lot of support and a lot of spiritual love, that you're able to sort things out yourself. You're definitely able to overcome those obstacles or the negativity and make those changes and stuff. It's just thinking habits that are negative are hard to break away. Any habit is tough. Even if I have to stop drinking black tea, I get nervous. It's hard to stop. I love tea. And then
you talked about food and everything. So how difficult was it? Were you a non-vegetarian before?
Yeah, I the first few years of life at the Brahma Kumaris, they advocate vegetarian diet with no onion, garlic.
Yeah.
And I was traveling. I was living in hotels for years, traveling. I lived in Asia 3 times, but in between I was staying in hotels 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. And it was very tough for me to become vegetarian. And it wasn't until I came to the Brahma Kumaris, February 7th, 1991, to a retreat. And the second day into the retreat, I was at breakfast, and the teacher who brought me from Hong Kong asked me how I was doing. And I said, Sister Maureen, I am vegetarian. As of today, I'm vegetarian. I let go of all the need to eat non-veg.
What made you take that decision?
It's just something I felt, and I think it has to do with the practice in the Brahma Kumaris, that while cooking, we're always in a state of meditation, and the energy and vibration that goes into the food is extremely important.
Yep.
And I just feel that the food in the kitchens here are prepared by very powerful meditators, very powerful yogis, and I just think the vibration of the food just completely, allow me to give up meat like instantaneously, because I did struggle with that. Again, because I was traveling and at that time there were no meditation centers in China or Korea or Taiwan, so I was pretty much on my own. Even though I had decided to become Brahma Kumari, I was gone a lot, and so it was more of a challenge and stuff. So
wasn't it difficult to find vegetarian food in China?
Terrible. So I would ask them to make me a vegetable soup. And no matter how many times I would explain to them, the soup came with a big fish head in it. So I would say, no, I can't eat this. And they said, no problem. They take the chopsticks and pull the fish head out, and now you can eat it. I'm like, no, just give me steamed tofu. Okay. They would come with little pieces of pork. And I'm like, no. And they take the chopstick and they'd knock the pork off. Now you can eat it. And the woman who ran my office, I hired her in 1989, and she would get really annoyed with me. She says, why can't you eat it?
Yeah.
Anyway, subsequently by 91, she became a Brahma Kumari, and which was interesting because in China, doing anything spiritual is against the law, and it's quite dangerous, and the police used to visit her in the office. They knew she was doing something, but they left her alone. But it wasn't until she became a BK that she one day apologized to me, and she said, I'm so sorry I gave you a hard time, because even though I'm Chinese and I speak Chinese, they still put the fish head in the soup, and subsequently I've taken 10 years of Chinese lessons, so now when I travel, I can tell them exactly
what do you want,
what it is, and no mistake and stuff. But it was challenging for me.
What differences did you feel after you left? What?
That's a good question, because prior to becoming vegetarian, I did feel that the meditation wasn't so powerful, and I saw a huge difference when I finally shifted and gave up the meat. I felt right away that my mind just had a lightness to it. I would call it like a clarity or a lightness. I could actually just feel physically that something changed.
Okay.
And I never, we don't drink, we don't smoke. And I never smoked in my life, and I never did a drug, and I never got drunk. And so that stuff was easy, but pulling away from the meat and stuff was hard, actually.
And another perception that people have, that after they become spiritual, after they do meditate, they become passive in life. They lose that competitiveness in them. Since you are associated with such a big brand, did you ever feel that aggression or that passion that you need in business, in running business, that went away?
Yeah, that was a concern my parents had. They were afraid I wasn't going to be ambitious enough. However, if you've ever been to a BK center, some of the toughest, most ambitious people I know are BK teachers. They're very driven. They're very, excited about what they do, and they're great workers. And I'm not naturally an ambitious person in the sense that I was never actively looking, for a title change or a promotion or a raise. But I do have a great work ethic, and coming to Brahma Kumaris, you have to do things very accurately, and I find that I'm very passionate about what I do, and that alone, and plus coupled with the fact that naturally there was always integrity in the soul and honesty. But working in a business where actually a lot of bribery happens, people, and a lot of my friends who worked in the industry were getting paid under the table, let's say, to place orders in factories. If you give me an order, we'll give you that. And no one ever even dared to ask me. No factory ever, and I've worked with over 1,000 factories, have ever hinted to me that they were going to, offer me a bribe to place the business there, because I felt like that integrity was there. And as a result of that, the company naturally kept promoting me until I'm in one of the more senior positions in the company now, with over 2,000 workers. And I found that, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to enjoy what I was doing. I think if you enjoy what you're doing, you'll naturally be ambitious and you'll move forward. But everybody's different, and some people, the money thing's important. It is important. I'm not going to ever say that I don't love having money. Money to me equals freedom.
Yep.
And so I'm not. I wish I was less materialistic, but it just naturally came from hard work and dedication and being reliable and consistent.
All right. So you said that no one approached you with unfair practices. But what if, did you see in your company that something is happening unfairly, and did you speak against it, or
yes,
how did that?
I've had people that work for me who were actually involved in that sort of thing.
How did you deal with that?
I did confront them with it, and they denied it, but I knew from other sources that it was the case, and so I should have fired them, but upper management decided not to fire them because they were doing a great job.
Yeah.
But that always bothered me. But luckily for me, the owners of my company who came over from Cuba in 1961 as refugees and grew this company into one of the major garment companies in the U.S. They're very, very honest, and there's a lot of integrity with them, and everything was always done above board. So I was always happy that I landed in a company that actually, that ethics were very important. And they knew what was going on as well, but they just made the decision, not to do anything about it.
Did you try to implement these meditation practices in your workplace, and what benefits did you see in your workers or your co-workers after they went through this meditation practice? Did the productivity grow, or?
That's my favorite question.
Okay.
Because actually, in terms of what we call seva in Hindi, service, my field of service was in the workplace itself. And I always felt, because of all the pressure that goes on, and you have to move really quickly and you have to make accurate decisions, that there was a place and a need for spirituality in the workplace. And luckily for me, Human Resource Department about 8-9 years ago approached me about having a meditation class offered in the workplace. And so the Miami office, so I was in the New York office, so there's the Miami office. The Miami office started having one of the BKs coming and doing a class on site. And then in New York, we started that a little bit later. And probably right now, close to 30 employees have actually taken the full meditation course, but others have attended the classes that are offered weekly. There's a new HR there's a new HR VP now, vice president of the company, and she wants to do more. So they're offering just regular meditation classes with topics. So they're offering the course, and they're putting the calendar of our local center on the website for people to go. And I was always super upfront about what I did. I wasn't shy about it, especially in the workplace. It could be a little misconstrued. People might think it's weird, or you're trying to impose your own beliefs on other people. I've had, once in the New York office, a woman who attended the classes came in my room, and she had a lot of traumas in her life, and she was telling me about some of them. And I was very patient and listened, and then she left the office, and 2 minutes later, she ran back into my room crying because she went to go into the women's washroom, and all of a sudden, in front of the door, she said she felt completely engulfed in light, and that she felt that it was God. She actually felt when she left my room something happened, and she said she was totally in this bubble of light, and she was so emotional. She ran back, and she said something happened in this room, and I was laughing to myself, thinking, in the middle of New York City, in the middle of the business district, in the middle of the day, that someone was having an experience going into the women's room, that light came all over her, and she thought it was God, and she came back in the room actually crying. And I've had other people in the office in meditation classes completely felt that they were covered in light and had these amazing experiences. When one of the heads of the Brahma Kumaris came in 1997 to my office in Miami, the entire management, everybody showed up, about close to 100 people. And one of these salesmen told me that when they did the meditation commentary and experience at the end of the talk, that he said he had a vision of Christ in the showroom. So I thought that was fascinating, in the office, that you could be having these experiences. So 2 weeks ago, when they started giving the foundation course, the 5 lessons in the office, I would wait outside the door every every day. And when the door opened, they were done. I would walk in. I wanted to see like their faces and what was going on. And they were like, "This is amazing." And oh my God, I feel so stress-free. And then the head of human resources was walking by, and I called her in the room. And these two people that worked for me for 25 years, they both at the same time said, "Everyone in the company needs to take this course." So it just naturally happened. All of our offices in China have had visiting BKs come and do positive thinking courses in Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou.
Okay.
My London office people have taken the course and gone to the retreat center in Oxford. So yeah, it's I think it's exciting, and people feel they feel more calm. They feel there's more stability in my business, and all over the world now. Like everything is falling apart. I mean everything, right? I mean it's unraveling. COVID did a number on people's heads and whatnot, and then on top of that you have like the economy and possible recession in the U.S. and prices are rising, and so people are just so stressed out. I don't care how wealthy you are, how successful you are, who you are. Everybody, it's an even playing field. Everybody is confused, dazed and confused. And if I say the word meditation now, absolutely, people are like, "Where's the class?" When I came to India, I went to do the check-in outside on the curb. You can check your bag when the car rolls up. And at the end of the conversation, when I told the guy I'm going to India, he goes, "Why?" And I told him why. He goes, "My wife needs to meditate. Like, where's this center?" It's funny, like, you're getting the baggage handler is asking for the number. I got to the JFK International Airport in New York, and I had a 6-hour layover, so I was in a hotel for a few hours. And the lady that checked me in ended up that she had gone to the Brahma Kumaris in New York a few years ago, and she thought that when I came and I told her, why I was going to India, and she said she meditated, and we established it was the same center I'd gone to in New York. She said to me, "Oh my God, this is like a sign, like I need to go back." And I said, "Yeah, it's a sign, but I just spent $200 for the hotel room, and it's an expensive way. I came here for $200, you better go back. I came here to give you that message to go back." And she was really excited. So I just find the interaction with people all over the world in business and travel, connected with the Brahma Kumaris and spirituality is very exciting. Right. I think it's like a natural thing. It's just people want spirituality these days, and they don't know where to get it because everyone I speak to is not getting it in church or temple. Most people.
Many people mix different form of meditations. Like you must be following Raj Yoga meditation,
yes.
Right? So many people have different meditations and they keep practicing all of them. So did you ever in the beginning try any other meditation apart from Raj Yoga meditation?
Yes, I came to the Brahma Kumaris in 1986, and my parents, I come from a family of 3 boys, and there was always a lot of noise in the house, and my parents thought that we should meditate before dinner, so we took Transcendental Meditation, TM.
Okay.
And you weren't allowed to come to dinner until you meditated. Of course, my brothers probably fell asleep during the meditation. I tried. It didn't do anything at all for me, at all. So I had never pursued it. And like I said, I wasn't really looking for meditation. It just, I had the accident on my foot, and I went there, try to just find relief. Little did I know that I would end up, it become a major force in my life, a major practice. So,
what do you think is different about the Raj Yoga meditation, which sets it different from all other meditations that are out there?
The major thing is that the first lesson, which is the most important lesson, it's like kind of like the first and the last lesson, is about being aware of the self as a soul, as a spirit. Usually people say, like, I have a soul and I have the body, but I have a soul. And we're like, no, I am first and foremost a soul that's in a body, and everything is in the soul, our mind, the intellect, our past memories, everything's like there, the emotions is in the soul. And there's the practice of considering yourself to be a soul, not the body, and you're encouraged to go beyond what your body looks like, your background, your social background, your religion. I'm just first and foremost this soul, point of light, if you will. And the other part of that, part 2, is that when you look at someone else, there's the practice of seeing that person as a soul. Even in today's class, we generally read class every day. The topic was on everybody is my brother, and even beyond gender, we're all our brothers and stuff, and that really clicked with me.
Okay.
And so when you have that awareness and you start going beyond the body, it makes it very easy to connect upstairs to God, which is where we go in meditation. Ultimately, is to make that connection. And what I loved about it was that it wasn't about praying, because I didn't think that, I always knew from day one that something was wrong when you pray and you're asking God for things. Like, in the West, you say grace before you eat food. People hold hands and thank God for food. And then I would think, but why would God give you so much food that you waste it and you have an overabundance, yet God is causing all these other people in the world to die of starvation, or they don't have proper nutrition? Like, you're thanking God for a healthy baby, but then God gave someone in the next room a baby that had a birth defect, or, I felt like God has nothing to do with that. Like, I had that sense very early on. And so when they said that you don't pray, you're not asking God, but you're going up and having a conversation, you're having a direct connection, and you're drawing on that power that you have the right. It's not even about asking God, make me peaceful. God is trying to give us peace. He's trying to give us love. He's trying to give us awareness, and that you can go up at any time and just take and as much as you want. So that was like a whole new experience, because when I went to the synagogue in Judaism, you're just reading words that you don't understand, and you're asking God for a good year, you're asking God for health, and I'm thinking, but God, I don't think He has anything to do with that. I always sense that. So here it's like, yes, God doesn't have anything to do with what's happening to us on the physical, but we have this ability to go up and have a connection, direct connection, and have these interesting experiences. And they're endless, and so that appealed to me.
So why does this happen? I mean, someone we see taking birth in a very well-to-do family, and someone taking birth in a not so well-to-do family. So isn't that, how do you look at it? Isn't that not?
Well, I didn't look at it until it was explained to me that it has to do with karma. Okay. That everything is, the seed of everything is of our actions that we perform, our thoughts are the seeds. And then we perform actions along the way, and so we get the benefit, the fruit, or the negative return of whatever. And in the West, we say commonly, you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around, and so everyone talks about karma, but they just use it in the wrong way. They think as if you're given good karma, but then we explain, no, it has all to do with your actions. And when things are happening to good people, it's like, well, we understand that in a past incarnation, a past birth, that some actions were performed, and as a result, the soul has to settle that karmic account. So when things do happen to me, I understand that it's a settlement I have to work through, and that I will work through it, and so I do it with a lot more ease, and not question it, and not get overwrought by it. So just understanding. But
don't you think it's all in some? Doesn't it ever occur to you that it's all in theory, and whatever the soul thing you talked about, the soul and the karmic thing, have you ever experienced anything practical that can make it more believable?
Oh, yeah. On a mundane level, let's say I cook. So I love vegetarian cooking. I do a lot of volunteer cooking in centers. I've gone to different countries for retreats. So as a result, whenever I travel, every factory I've gone to in different countries, if they know that I like mangoes, there's like 20 mangoes piled. Wherever I go, people are bringing me food. In the office, I go to my desk, there's chocolate, there's mangoes. I cook, and I spend a lot of money physically on food, and I spend a lot of time and effort on the food, and I find that wherever I go, I never worry about being hungry, because somehow, somewhere, I'll check into the hotel in Hong Kong, and one of the BKs left me a thermos of warm paneer at the front desk. I didn't even know, so it's like that happens all the time. On a physical, definitely, I find wherever I go, I've always been naturally very respectful of people, and I believe kindness is extremely important. And wherever I've traveled to over 60 countries, and some of them many, many times, and wherever I've gone, the nicest people in the world come out of the woodwork. I never get lost. People are always helping me. It's just, the people are so kind and so warm, and I just feel that maybe that's the energy I put out there.
Yeah.
And when I went to New York, now New York is considered to be a really rough place to be. I found it to be one of the nicest people ever. I mean, and people would say, what New York do you live in? But, because I just was very, like when I went there, my energy was like, wow, I'm in this exciting city and all these people from all over the world, and people would like hold doors open for me. I lost my wallet, my phone 3 times. It came back to me. The drivers would, call the bank and call me and, return things. And, I just found, what goes around comes around. You put out that positive energy and it just comes back. And my experience in New York was like, everyone here is amazing, and people go, where do you live? Like, I never experienced that. So yeah, that's
rightly said. Your vibe attracts a tribe, and sitting next to you, talking to you, I could feel that there's a whole lot of positive vibe around you.
Yeah, I try. I'm not perfect. I mean, I have bad days. Sometimes the thing in my office, which is funny, so like the problem with introducing Brahma Kumaris and spirituality in the workplace is that now I am held to a very high standard. So, for instance, one day I gave somebody a Brahma Kumari book, and then they heard me yelling on the phone, and they brought the book back to me and said, here, I think you should read this. If I do anything out of line now, people are like, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
The other day I was eating French fries, and people were like, you eat French fries? And it's like, I'm not shooting heroin. It's a French fry, and it's a potato the last I checked, but they thought like, you're eating French fries. Everyone's like watching every move. And it's made me much more aware of my actions in the office, and I have to behave a little differently.
Yeah. So it was lovely chatting with you.
Yeah.
I would love to ask you many questions, but then the time permits us.
All right.
For this much only.
No, it was great. Thank you for letting me have the chance to talk, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So, to sum it up, it was a lovely experience. I got to learn a lot of things about meditation and spirituality, and I'm sure you would have taken a lot of lessons from it. And if I share about my experience, that it might seem difficult, but if you start somewhere, you'll definitely experience something, and it calms you down. If you follow meditation, if you follow spirituality, it basically gives you a clear head, and that's what we got to learn from Brad here as well, that he experienced a lot of clarity in his decision making while at workplace. And so yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing all of these things. And I'm sure that our audience, whoever will listen to it, will highly benefit from it.
All right. And they can call me if they want more information.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And so thank you.